Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the KeenGamer podcast. I am your guest host, Mark O'Callahan, and I am joined by the lovely Jessica Orr. Jessica, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Mark. Thank you, lovely Mark Callahan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So we got a jam-packed show. We were recording this on Pokemon Day, a national holiday, not in my household, but I'll try. And we got a lot of things to talk about, but let's start with the main game that we're both playing. Everyone's talking about it, Elden Ring. So Jessica, what's your thoughts on Elden Ring? You have some amazing guides which are going to be very helpful for my playthrough. So what's your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's listened to this before, might be a little bit surprised that I'm playing Elden Ring because I wasn't really a fan of Dark Souls. Liked Bloodborne, but did not want to dedicate the time to complete it. I've not played Sekiro, and I was going to get Horizon, and then the reviews for Elden Ring came out, and my brother was going to get it, and we could like share the Xbox console so I could play it for free. And I was like, I guess I'll give this 10 out of 10 game a go. And I mean, I'm in love with it. It is such a good game. The problem I had with the Dark Souls was the constantly loop of going down this corridor, building up the souls to try and get stronger, to try and take on the bosses, who I didn't really enjoy. The bosses in this game are incredible. I did an optional boss at the end of this, I guess, but it was massive. It took me all night. It took me about 5 hours. I did the boss about 25 times before I actually did it, and it was such a good feeling, and I didn't care that I was doing the boss so much because it was beautiful. It reminded me of the bosses in Returnal, which are some of my favorite. It's so stylized, and the thing that makes this game so great is because when I was beating my head against the wall in the first castle, the first boss, I just went out and explored for like 10 hours. And I leveled up, and I got to the point where last night I was able to come back and I was able to defeat the guy I was having trouble with like that. It was so good. It's fixed that formula for me of grinding a corridor to try and get more souls, whereas in this it's ruins where I just go out and explore and get more ruins and level up. And the systems are still a little complicated to me, which is why I did a guide because I looked into it and like, oh well, how do these spirits work?
Mhm.
But I'm just loving like every aspect of it. I don't mind that it's a bit convoluted because it's got such great exploration, and I'm finally appreciating the combat in Dark Souls, or yeah, these Soulsborne games now.
Mhm.
What about you?
I was going to say, and you also have your controller charge for Elden Ring, right?
Saw
Right?
that? Did you?
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
saw it before the show. I'm like, oh,
I saw it.
ouch.
Notification came up saying battery's low, and I put this on the comments on Eve as well. When my Switch says it's low, it gives you 3 notifications, and I'm like, oh okay, I got it. I should go charge this now. The Xbox did it once, and I forgot because I'm an idiot. I was like, yeah, let's take on this boss. It was the first boss in the castle. I was doing really well, and then it just all disconnected. I was like, no. So yeah, charge your batteries, folks.
Yeah, the game itself is not brutal. It's also batteries.
I was playing in hard mode. Yeah, try not moving.
Oh, but that's the new game plus. You just start automatically like critical battery. You got to charge right now. It's like no, no, no. You can't charge, so it's dead.
Oof.
But Elden Ring, it's so fascinating. Like it's not that shocking that like it took the gaming world by storm. But because I don't know, like the last time we've seen this kind of critical acclaim, I mean, yeah, with Red Dead 2, but honestly, with Breath of the Wild, of just more of the innovation of the open world. But here's the fascinating thing I think about Elden Ring. With like Breath of the Wild, it's very approachable. I mean, yeah, you got to get a Switch, but if you start playing like Breath of the Wild, you can get into it. Yeah, they don't tell you some things, but it's not that hard. Well, Elden Ring, that's that Souls like DNA ingrained right into it. So you said that you met, it's not that you're a fan of Souls games. You're just like, not for me, but I would play it, right?
Yeah, it's the time investment of them of doing that same loop, which is what I wasn't a fan of.
So I'm going to put this in the context of my brother-in-law who saw all the critical acclaim. He's like, Marky, should I get this game? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if you would actually enjoy this game. So Jessica, in honor of Tyler Duma, would you say he should buy this game?
I think if he did not enjoy the combat, like not the loop, but the combat, I'd say no because that's still there. But if he enjoys exploration games and games like Breath of the Wild, where you see something in the distance and you go and you check it out, and that's another thing in this game. Everyone probably already knows at this point, but there's no journal, there's no quest log, but there's a ton
There's
of
no
side
question
quests.
mark.
No question marks. You just get like an the only thing on your map is like grace points, or if you've discovered a place before. And that is so incredible. You go and you see this giant mountain. You're like, well, I'll see if there's a cave there. It does. You go into it. You don't know what's going to be there. There is some sort of generalized things like mines and stuff. But it's that exploration. So if he was a fan of games like Breath of the Wild doing that, I'd say yes, because you can just ignore the main story if you really want. You could go and just do all of this side stuff. You could explore the entire map and have a really awesome time like I have at the moment.
And I feel like, so Tyler has not played any Souls games or anything like not Bloodborne, not Sekiro. So that's like, ooh, you know about this. Like I feel like the general gamer has heard of like, oh, it's a Souls-like game. But once you play it, like I played Demon Souls for the first time, the PlayStation 5, at the end of December. And that took me by surprise, but I loved it. It's
I
one
think
of
you're
those
right.
like it hurts, but it hurts so good.
It's rewarding when you finally do it, but you've got a good point about Breath of the Wild being accessible, where you could just say to anyone, "You need to try it. It's Breath of the Wild." Like my niece played it first when she was 4 years old, and she just went around on a horse and had a fantastic time, and she loved it. She would not be able to just boot up Elden Ring and have a good time.
I would love to watch that Twitch stream. I know it's cruel of me, but I would love to see it.
She is a little bit of a psychopath in Minecraft, so I'd love to see what she'd do in Elden Ring. But like I said, those systems more complicated than Breath of the Wild. So if you are recommended, I think it comes with like a huge caveat of like, are you willing to invest the time to understand how to even upgrade your character? We were talking before about which character to pick beforehand. Because I told
Mhm.
you I waited on the screen forever because I was waiting for my game to fully download and just going through all the stats. I'm like, but how would this affect me in the game? I get that this is magic. Which one should I pick? It's and that's just right from the start.
Choosing a class is always the toughest part because you can't real it's not really choosing a class, it's more like here's your weapon, here are these stats that you're going to get and go. Do your thing. And there's some classes like the Witch, which basically like if you are a Souls player, I feel like that's your class because it's very customizable, you get all the stats, but you're going to be screwed for the beginning part of the game. You got
That
no armor. You got your underwear. That's it. Go off.
Yeah, I did look at it and I was like, so this is like if people pick this, they'd go hard mode because I'm not familiar with too much. But you're right, it's because it's customizable. You start at what, like level 10, or your stats are level 10.
See, it's at least level 10.
And then you can, when you level up, like you said, customize what way you want to go. But that's why I'm getting a little bit. I chose the samurai class and it
Mhm.
has a high dexterity, but I'm now using strength weapons, so I clearly picked wrong, but I'm still having a fun time. I just went and changed so I could have high strength, so I could equip this weapon. Like I'm using a two-handed great sword, which I never do in games, but I just found it so satisfying the combat. So now I've switched to it.
I picked I'm gonna butcher the name, Valagard? Vagabond?
Vagabond, yeah,
Vagabond.
I think.
Sounds like a sweet Vagabond. It's what George R. R. Martin wanted. That was in the lore. But I'm like, okay, this is like good amount of strength in melee, but I can like level up on magic. Because basically, I wanted that one class, and I'm forgetting the one in Demon Souls, but you get a soul arrow, and it is just super OP in the beginning. And I couldn't find anything like that, so I'm like, let's just choose this one. Why not?
Yeah,
I haven't gone too deep into Elden Ring yet. Well, I'll talk about Horizon in a little while, but it's amazing.
yeah, like I can't believe I'm saying this, but that a Soulsborne game might be my game of the year. And I had like a massive set. Like I think I played it for 10 hours straight the other day, and I didn't mean to. I just meant to go and level up a bit before I came back and tried to do the boss, but I just kept seeing things in the distance, kept coming across people, kept being awed by like this giant crab that came out and started chasing me. It's so fun to just go and explore the place, even if you I haven't. I think I've been a little bit lucky though. I haven't found a place in the side stuff where I've been incredibly underleveled for it. Well, maybe like one boss, but I
Mhm.
left it. So I think if you stick to that, I think it's Limgrave map, you're gonna have a great time beginning.
It's so much, and it's crazy to think about. I feel like that Jackie Chan meme of like head to the temple, like what? Like think about it. End of January, we got Pokemon Legends, great open world game, and I know you're going to talk about it in a bit, and I'm pretty sure you like it, right?
Spoilers, who knows? Yeah, I like it.
Oh well, I didn't want to spoil her. Gosh, Kyle would never have to deal with this.
Oh god, yeah, it's already
We
dumpster
got
fire.
just that Elmo praise the fire, burn it down, Jess, burn it down.
Uh,
But we got that last week. We got Horizon Forbidden West, an amazing game which I'll talk about, and now Elden Ring. Oh my god, we're spoiled, and this is the 2 months.
yeah, what the hell's the rest of 2022 gonna be like? I was saying to Kyle last week, there's 7 games alone that I want to play in March.
I mean, we'll definitely talk about one that's coming out late 2022, but I'm hoping for God of War.
Yeah, that's another massive one. Game of the year contender right there.
Oh my god, can you imagine if we get the sequel for Breath of the Wild this year?
Oh, yeah, talking to you now, that's crazy. Elden Ring, God of War, Breath of the Wild, Starfield,
Oh my god, Starfield,
uh,
Mario
open
and Rabbits.
a new Pokemon game. Spoilers.
Oh gosh, Chess. We talked about this. Don't spoil this. Kyle Shamillard, which I'm finally pronouncing his last name correctly, kind of, would never have to deal with this.
No respect.
No respect. No respect. Rappin' Ronnie, obscure, weird 80s song.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. I bet you Kyle would. Oh, Kyle, where are you?
You would get my obscure Rodney Dangerfield rap song that he put out.
Obviously.
So, is there anything else that you want to talk about Elden Ring?
I think I covered. I don't think I'm getting across just how much of a meh Souls fan I was before. Like the only reason I liked Bloodborne was the aesthetics, and Elden Ring I think is even better than Bloodborne, which is sensing for me because I love that horror tinged look that games have, and
Mm-hmm.
just coming across a character in this. And I don't want to spoil anything for everyone because I know fans
You
like.
already spoiled like two things, so make it 3 for 3.
No, it's okay. You just come across certain characters and the way they're dressed, like it's so cool. I understand why people want to go in to the lore videos now. I'm like, well, why are they like this? Why are they dressed in this? Why have they done that? It's a very pretty game without being like Horizon level of visuals. The art design in it is compelling enough alone for me to want to play and come across these characters and these beautiful creatures. Like I said, I fought a boss. It was one of my favorite bosses. Remind me of Returnal bosses. The color and the fun I had actually playing it and not minding I had to do it 25 times, which is incredible.
I mean, there's so much about Elden Ring. Like, it's crazy when the reviews came out. Like, I was thinking, like, so I'm reviewing Horizon Forbidden West, and it's more of a quality over quantity thing. As in, I really want to explore the game to give it my full, honest opinion. If I had that mindset for an Elden Ring review, it would take me to like next year. Gamers or reviewers have put in at least 80 hours in this game and they're not bored. Frustrated, but not bored.
Yeah, I think that says a lot. Like I had that 10-hour session, didn't even realize it. I was just having so much fun.
Crazy. So we're definitely going to talk about more Elden Ring throughout the upcoming weeks on the KeenGamer podcast. But to transition to that, I feel like the distracted boyfriend meme guy
Yes.
looking to his shoulder. So I feel like gamers are looking at Elden Ring and the person offended is Horizon Forbidden West. You
Well,
can't.
it happened to
Yeah,
me. I told you I was going to get Horizon, and then I decided to pivot to Elden Ring.
You know why? I'm a dedicated boyfriend and I am playing Horizon for you. That's how good I am. Oh, by the way, if anyone tells you I'm such a good boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, I don't think they are. That's just a red flag.
Well, you're just you're red flagging yourself there, Mark.
You know, when you put it like that,
Kyle requests an edit here.
Kyle, can you edit out the part where I cancel myself? Thank you. But I have been playing Horizon Forbidden West, and if you have a PlayStation 5, hell, even a PlayStation 4, because you do get that free digital upgrade, and even if you had the physical, you can just put it in the PlayStation 5, boom, you get it. You need to play this game. It is incredible. And you have PlayStation, right, Jess?
Mhm.
Have you picked up Horizon at all?
I did play the first one. Yeah, I never completed it.
It's so good. Like it does everything that a sequel should do and just builds upon it. Like you get some sequels, it's like, all right, you progress this far into the story and like the gameplay. Okay, we're gonna just bring you back to that point in the second game, and you gotta rebuild. It's like, no, Aloy is a warrior. She's learned so much in the first game, and now she gets to learn new stuff. Like some of the skills, like when you in the first game in Zero Dawn, you had to call a mount. That skill was very late in the game. You had to go through unlock after unlock, getting skill points, but in this game, you just got it automatically. And these new mechanics like gliding, the swim mask, super fun. And I feel like if you are frustrated by Elden Ring and you're not really feeling it, I would play the Horizon games because it's more traditional. Like, oh, there's a question mark, or there's a journal. I don't even think you get a journal in Elden Ring.
Nope.
Nope, not even a. Do you even get a glossary? Like one of those beast journals, you know?
You I had a companion app which went through the tiniest bit of lore and told me some things about the game, but that's a separate thing from the game. It's weird. But no, in Elden Ring, you get item descriptions and little tutorials you can go back and read. So yeah, it seems like they're both two sides of the same open world coin.
Yeah, I mean they're both fantastic open world, and I don't want to say like, oh, Horizon holds your hand, but Elden Ring slaps away your hand. You want a little hand holding? They're like, no, 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 go.
Yeah, they're like punching you. I think that's good. Elden Ring punches you. Horizon helps you. Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about red flags? That's a red flag right there. But the Horizon world is so freaking beautiful. I can't. It's just mind blowing, and it's one of those weird open worlds. Like, huh? How does this eagle system work? Like, one minute you're in the desert, and the next you're in a snowy mountain. What? But whatever. It's the future. And oh, were you about to say something?
I was just gonna say I've seen screenshots of it and it looks incredible. It looks beautiful. I really want to play it. I don't mind games that have like question marks on the map and going to do things because I've heard. I want to ask you about the side quests in this. I've heard the side quests are probably better than the main story, and that is where I always love playing games like The Witcher and like Bethesda titles doing those side quests.
We can definitely delve into that, and I think the main story is really strong. And I don't want to spoil anything, unlike you, Jess. Not just kidding. But
I don't
but
understand you Soulsborne fans. What did I spoil?
I don't know.
Oh, you're
But
making stuff up. This is why we're
yeah.
canceling Marco Callahan.
Whoa, whoa, Kyle. Can you edit out Jess? But the first act of Horizon it feels like a sequel. And then towards the second act, they throw like this massive twist, and it's like, wait, what's happening? Wait, this is what we're dealing with? Oh. And now I'm like, I want to play the main quest. But yet again, the side quests are so much better than the first game. Like I'm trying to remember like any and I just played Zero Dawn. Like nothing really comes to mind with the first game. But the second one, there's some like funny stuff, really sad stuff, revenge stories. It's really good. So
What is your
I'm not going to say like the side quests outshine the main one, but it's so compelling enough that I'm not like main quest. I got to do the side one. It's like, oh, let's check out that.
like you're constantly entertained with whatever you're doing?
Yes,
That sounds awesome.
and it actually even looks like it's an easy platinum. Like you don't have to 100% everything, like what Kyle was doing with Elden Ring.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be an easy platinum as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have any friends, so I can't do co-op. It's gonna be hard to earn that trophy.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah. So I'm currently working on the review right now. I got 2/3 of it done. By the end of this week, it should be up. And I kind of wish Elden Ring wasn't stealing the spotlight right now, but what are you gonna do?
Any other aspects of about it that really stand out to you?
Uh the collectibles.
Oh, really?
I mean, they are standard collectibles, but maybe because it's the mythology of the world, and it's interesting because it does focus on the quote unquote old world, what happened for the machines raid and humanity was almost extinct, and now this new world, and it constantly balances both. That you do want to delve into it. Like there's data points everywhere, and once in a while, I'm like, I'm reading this. I'm like, ooh, what's the continuation of that? And I'm like reading this. I'm like, reading in a video game? Like, no, but it's that good.
So the lore behind the collectibles, yeah.
I think just the lore in general, and then like not as much a spoiler because it's on the cover of the game. Like it does take place in the Western United States.
Yeah.
So you do get to visit places like Las Vegas and San Francisco, and you see like these not basically these destroyed ruins, like the Golden State Bridge, and just the vast scope of it is breathtaking. And I think also with the PlayStation 5, with all the perks that you get with the PS5, faster loading times, the frame rate, and I'm so happy with the DualShock controller because some of these things, like you're going up a ladder or you're going up a metal, something that's unnatural, you feel that the draw little triggers when you pull on the bow, you feel it. Even like the heavy weapons, it's a little bit of resistance, but it adds to the whole immersion element of the game.
That's really cool to hear because I loved that stuff in Astro Spyro. I still think it's the best that's done it, and Returnal did it really good as well.
I think still Astro is the best, and I can't wait until we get another Astro game so we have something like that.
Same.
I have not played Returnal or Rift Apart, but out of all the PS5 games I've played, this one has the best DualShock capabilities.
I have one more question to ask you about the action in it and how you're liking it, because weirdly, for some reason, in the first game, it's why I never completed it. I found it really tough on normal. Like I was probably just playing it weird. I think I was trying to stealth like the bases you get in it, and I wasn't having a fantastic time with the combat. Is it more of the same, or have they improved on it?
More of the same, but they do improve on it. I mean, with bows and all that sort of stuff, it's the same. I feel like they kind of downgrade some weapons. Like you have a trip caster. In the first game, you would set up this line and this line, however Ron, and if an enemy trips, like a machine, you can take it down through electric or a blast wire. But this one, it's a lot more finicky in the sequel. Like sometimes it won't stick up right. Like you would really have to precise it, and that kind of stinks. But some of these weapons, like you basically like get to huck a spear at enemies and it explodes. That's awesome.
Any other favorite weapons? I suppose without spoiling it.
No, I mean they're not in your arsenal, but like in camps or when they're just on the ground when you get like these heavy machines, you just fire. It's basically like a machine gun, but
Oh,
imagine like a plasma. So if you find it difficult in the first game, it's still going to be that same level. but I feel like the bosses are a bit harder because the machines in these games are massive. They are, God, I don't really know what to say. Oddly enough, but dinosaur like. As in, if you
What?
saw a dinosaur in a like real world, like Jurassic World, you'd be like, "That's huge." And imagine you're taking down that person.
That's actually something pretty similar with Elden Ring and Horizon. You get the sense of awe taking on a boss then.
Yeah, enemies are not scaled down to your side in both games,
Yeah, no.
except that one night in Elden Ring. But
That one night, yeah. Spoilers. What are you doing?
what have I become? Kyle, can you edit this part out and
I feel
edit
like
it out the Twitch?
we're gonna be having a layout on the Twitch.
It'll just be like the whole podcast at this point will be like, "Hello, welcome to KeenGamer. Bye, everyone."
Bye everyone. Here's our uploads.
Check out Jess's guide. Oh gosh,
uh,
but
anything more
I
else of Horizon before we move on?
no, I really dig Horizon.
You
That's
definitely
all
recommend it then.
I definitely do. I feel like the one big problem, and I feel like maybe it was my expectations, so I don't know how to reflect that in the review. I really thought they were going to change the game with water levels because you
Yeah.
can really, go dive, explore, and unfortunately, they put it late in the game. This like diving mask, which is odd because that was really prominent in the advertisement and something that Guerrilla Games really wanted to show off. And it looks stunning. Like when you're underwater, it's kind of like Super Mario Sunshine of how they kind of changed the water graphics. And it's like, that's what they were going for. But it feels like standard, like you're swimming, like when you're swimming in like Mario or any other open world game, it's more the same. And not that it's a problem, I'm kind of just disappointed.
Yeah. No innovation there.
No, I mean, in the look, great. But in the innovation, not really.
Is it just traversing? Like you're traversing in the water, or you're like searching for collectibles or doing stories?
Both. And sometimes it kind of feels like you're trapped underwater. Like all of a sudden, like if you brush up against something, like the camera will kind of like jank a little. So it's not like a bug. I think it's just more of the camera system and just the base controls of it all. But the look of it, great.
Those classic underwater controls that Kyle hates.
Yeah, we were talking about it last week. I'm like, yeah, he was like kind of giving the same thing. Like, yeah, I'm not feeling the water. I'm like, well, I haven't checked out the water because I really want that diving mask, which I was kind of shocked that it took a bit to get that because it kind of seemed like, oh, you get it right away. But what ifs? Honestly, it's a 9.0. It's an amazing game. That is my final score. Just got to finish the nuts and bolts of it all.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
Yeah. But speaking of open world games, it's not like it's the topic for this episode. So you have been playing Pokemon Legends, probably enough on Pokemon Day. I don't know if I ever heard your opinion on the game. We haven't podcast about it, but what's your overall opinion on it?
Yeah, so I was a bit late to Pokemon because I was playing another open world game, Dying Light 2. Um,
That's
um,
right.
yeah, before Elden Ring came out, another open world
Oh
game.
my gosh, I forgot about that. Oh wow.
I picked up Pokemon. I finally caved and got it. And I, much like Elden Ring, I spent hours delving into their side quests and the main story, and just capturing and battling Pokemon. And I got pretty immersed in it. Like it is like Kyle, I think he puts it best when he says this is a step forward, the Pokemon game that people have been wanting, not necessarily it's the Pokemon game people have been wanting here in Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's very fun. You will lose time to it if you're a Pokemon fan. Um, I don't usually care about graphics. Like I really don't care as long as you've got a cool art style and the gameplay is good, but it is shockingly bad in Pokemon Legends Arceus. The bl-
Really?
Yeah, when you it's not just the frame rate of the Pokemon off screen or fine, that's fine. It is pretty funny sometimes because I saw like a Gyarados flying through the air, but it was like shuddering, like like it was funny.
For anyone listening to the audio, please check out the YouTube video of that because that was amazing.
It's even funnier in the game. So
Kyle,
that
please do not edit that one out.
well, now I want him to.
No, it was awesome.
So that's pretty bad, but it's like, who cares if that's happening if you've got like a core good game? But the art style in this game, besides for the Pokemon and the characters, because they're always the best bit of the games, because it's clearly obviously a focus on Pokemon. It's
Mhm.
just really bad. Like the trees look like they're from a DS game, and you're supposed to be having these cool moments where you come to a new area or you scale a mountain and you're supposed to be seeing the landscape, and it's just like beta footage. It's really bad
Cool.
textures. You can't see a lot of Pokemon in the distance. I got into a cave and it has this weird thing where, because the light's coming in from behind the cave, it like makes you glow when you're not supposed to, but it's like a pixelated glow.
Hmm.
The caves themselves are so, well, the ones that I'm nearly done. So the ones that I've done are just like empty. There's not much to do. There might be like a couple of Pokemon in there. I agree with everyone saying that it feels empty because you have one hub town and that's it. You get to set up camps places. Those side quests are pretty cool on their own, setting them up, but it doesn't feel like a completed game yet, despite it being a very fun to play. And the best part of it is actually when you're not doing the stories and the side quests, you're just out there trying to complete research levels on your Pokemon. It's so fun just chucking a ball at them and then maybe sometimes getting into a fight. Riding around on your Pokemon, you can go and it's seamless as well. So you're riding on, I can't remember the Pokemon's name with the antlers, and then you go to the water and it immediately changes the Basculegion. And if you're climbing a mountain, it immediately changes the Sneasel, which is terrifying, by the way, because it changes, you control the Sneasel and you're in a basket in the back of this thing. And you only see your eyes through
Oh,
yeah, most accidental horrific moment in a game this year. But that's seamless. So they're really doing the open world elements well, but it's very distracting how empty the place feels and how Nintendo DS it feels.
wow, that's I'm not going to say shocking because I've not played the game. I've not been really, focusing, being really keen on that in particular. But I feel like we have a similar viewpoint, and especially with the Switch, as long as you have a good art style, like graphics wise, I'll look past it, especially on the Switch. If it's something like the PlayStation 5, I'm gonna be a little more harsher. But the Switch, nah, this is like a generation behind in terms of hardware.
Yeah.
So hearing that description doesn't make me really enthusiastic to buy the game. And the thing is about Nintendo games, do they go on sale? Yeah. Is it only for like $5 off? Yeah.
If you're lucky. But the thing, that's why sometimes I just get Nintendo games the day they come out, because it's just gonna stay that price forever. May as well just get it.
I feel like the only one who's really gone down in price was the Mario plus Rabbids game. You always see that for like $15, and maybe because it's a first party, but also a third party game. But any big first party games, nah, you're lucky if it goes down like $20.
Yeah, that's very lucky, yeah. Uh-huh. But yeah, it's not like it's not completely putting me off the game, but it's just so glaringly obvious when you're supposed to be having moments where it's supposed to be awesome. I've uncovered a new environment and it's so underwhelming to look at. I'd recommend playing it if you're a Pokemon fan because the core gameplay is cool. And Kyle was talking about they have actually totally overhauled the system of battling Pokemon. So usually in Pokemon, I have my starter, it's OP. I get a couple of my favorite Pokemon, they're OP, and you just like annihilate the Pokemon as you go on. I actually found the battles a little bit tougher this time. Like I'm having my Pokemon faint and then having to change to another one. So that being a little bit more challenging, and they've changed like status affecting you outside of battle. It's now just inside of battle. Even sleep's changed, which how do you change sleep? But they've done that. So this again, this feels like a really good starting period for what they're going to do. Although, talk about it later on with the Pokemon news, it kind of just looks like they're doing the same thing again with the same art style. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Are you a
they
Pokemon fan? Do you play them?
I played the DS game. I was all in on Pokemon Go when it first came out. I Pokemon Go to the polls.
Oh, wow. Retro
Th-
meme now.
Thank you for getting that. That's one of my favorite memes of all time.
Uh,
Pokemon Go to the polls.
Classic. So many people voted because of that, you know. Mm.
That still hurts, Jessica, in your not America place.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we're up there, though, Northern Ireland.
That's true. What was I saying? Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
KeenGamer and Keen Meme guy. Keen Meme.
King meme.
Oh,
Wow, spin off.
oh my gosh.
King meme. Mark
Idea
will
for
now
a
be
podcast.
socialist.
We dedicate memes and talk about the history of them, and we try to come up with our own spin.
Well,
Anyway,
that's just Mark on
Poke.
the podcast.
uh yeah, that's true. But Pokemon, like, I'm not against Pokemon. It's one of those things like Pokemon is so massive, and I feel like it's not interconnected, but it is. So it's kind of like, what's the starting point? And I did play.
To that, I would say literally any game that looks good to you. It's like you said, it's kind of interconnected, and they do have the regions. But I go in and out of Pokemon so much. I'm a fan of the spin-off games more than I am of the mainline series.
Mhm.
Despite maybe not knowing the names of all 900 Pokemon, I'd say you're good. Honestly, I go in and out of Pokemon games all the time, and I don't really ever feel lost.
Did you like Detective Pikachu the game?
I never played the game actually. This is so weird. I don't hear about some of these things. Like I didn't even know Pokemon Masters. Well, I can't remember what it's called. Pokemon Masters EX was a thing.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like what is this game? What? There's so many of them, but no, I haven't played Detective Pikachu. Have you?
No, I really dig the movie.
See you? Yeah, I think they did a real good job.
Again, no sequel to that.
They've got to be working on a because it was before. I think before Sonic came out. If I'm remembering right, it was like the highest grossing video game movie at the time. So they made a good amount of money on it. And the Mr. Mime moment in that, classic.
I'm looking at the reviews right now. Like it got 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. Very good. Uh okay, it did okay at the box office. So the budget was 150 million. We don't know if that's both production and marketing, probably just
Yeah,
production. Gross 433, so maybe they thought it would be better. Oh, cancel
that's
sequel.
what.
This is a legit source from Wikipedia. Well, it's from okay, it's from it's from another article. Okay, Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, well, they're
So
legit.
on May 3rd, 2021, I think we just buried our hopes. I don't think it's gonna happen. I really hope so. Oh god, that's a sad note to end this discussion on.
Yeah, why would you do this?
Kyle, can you not edit that part out, but can you make it more happy? Thank you.
Put some upbeat music on in the background.
I don't think Pokemon doesn't have like downer music, right? I feel like it's all action and happy.
Well, you have the freaky music from Lavender Town. You put
Maybe that makes me happy.
it makes me happy. So yeah, you're right. I'm
uh,
disappointed that there's not a sequel to that. But you're a fan of the movie, and I was a fan of the movie. Any other Pokemon stuff except for Pokemon Go?
the theme song is one of the best theme songs of all time.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually thinking that watching the little Pokemon Direct today.
Yeah, and I'm about to wait. I'm being told off screen I can't sing that because of copyright. Really? Okay, you guys missed that. I just wanted to be the very best, like no one ever won.
Oh.
Dun dun. Anything else about Pokemon Legends before you get to your final game?
Um, Some well, actually, yes, we can talk about how because we're talking about Pokemon later on, but there is an expansion coming. It got announced on Pokemon Day. It looks like you're gonna have a little bit of battling and a new side quest.
Mhm.
So I'm happy that they're continuing support for this game. Because I do see myself after I finish all the open world games I want to play. Uh, well, actually, do you know what? I will go back to Pokemon because it's fun because it's on the Switch. So if somebody else is on the TV, I'll just go and play Pokemon instead. So it being portable for me is a big bonus as always with the Switch. So I'm glad that they're supporting it. And I, with Pokemon games, I tend to like just play them and then sell them. Like I played Pokemon Sword and then just sold it for the same price that I bought it, basically, because Nintendo are weird. Um,
But,
but with
good for you.
thank you, yeah.
We
Humble.
stand sellers. We
So,
stand.
I did that. I'm gonna keep this. I'm not gonna sell Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I'm looking forward to the new content that's coming.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely talk a little more about Pokemon Day to all who celebrate. Before we go on to your final game, so you've been playing Life is Strange Before the Storm. So out of all the open world games, there's so much going on. You did a great job with the Dying Light 2 guides. You're doing guides for Elden Ring. What made you want to go back to this one? If
It's
this is your
actually
first time playing, or
it's funny you should mention that. I would have held off on this, but I was doing guides for Life is Strange. So, um,
okay, that makes
yeah,
sense.
but I did always enjoy the first Life is Strange. I hadn't ever completed before the storm. I got into it when it was coming out episodically, so I was waiting and just never got around to playing it eventually. Do you like Life is Strange games? Have you played them?
I want to buy True Colors. I'm just gonna wait for it on sale.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend that out of all the games I've played. Well, maybe tell me why, but it's not true. Life is Strange game.
Well,
Um,
okay, to tell you why, I don't want to spend the full 60 right now. Oh, wait, you mean tell me why different? Okay, gotcha.
tell
We
me
also have
why you won't buy Life is Strange True Colors.
tell me why. Oh,
Oh
wait,
Lord.
I can't sing Backstreet Boys. Not even Pokemon. Okay, fine.
Ah, God, no Pokemon, no
Hey,
Backstreet
nothing
Boys.
but a heartbreak.
So yeah, out of all of them, I recommend getting True Colors. It's Deck Nine as well. Deck Nine did Life is Strange Before the Storm remastered. So the first game I talked about it before. It's very a bunch of it sounds like a bunch of 60-year-old people trying to write for teenagers, and it comes off very strange but funny at times.
Well,
And then
life is strange.
life is very strange when people are saying hella every 2 seconds and chakra bra. S-
Shakalaka.
so and it picked up in the fourth and the fifth episodes. Like that is what makes Life is Strange for me. Like they are really, really good adventure experiences and they kind of go to darker places. Um Life is Strange Before the Storm, whenever I played it, it's my first time. It doesn't really have those supernatural elements that Life is Strange has, so it might put some people off it. But if you're a fan of Chloe from the original Life is Strange and you want to see her story a little bit more, I definitely recommend it. It's not actually Birch doing the voice because there was like a writer's strike of America, I believe, going on, so she couldn't do the voice. But I can't remember her name. I'm really sorry. The woman they got in to replace her is really good. Like I forgot that it was somebody else doing it by the end of the first episode. She's very good. Um, but what struck me about this is that so the first game was you played as a girl called Max Caulfield, but it kind of felt like it was more Chloe's story. And this, you're playing as Chloe, and it kind of feels like it's more Rachel's story. So Rachel's the girl who went missing at the beginning of the first episode of the original Life is Strange. I think that's kind of weird how they were continually doing that because Life is Strange, it is Alex Chen's story, definitely.
Mhm.
Whereas this is kind of like they're taking turns between them and it's more about Rachel. It is a good game. I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're a massive Life is Strange fan, and I wouldn't recommend playing it before Life is Strange because they do some weird things where they introduce characters and then because they've introduced them in a prequel, this takes place before the first one. Those characters don't obviously carry on into the original, and they don't really explain it all that well. It has definitely a weird town Twin Peaks feel to it, but without the supernatural elements. So I think they've improved on the weird dialogue. The voice acting's pretty decent, but if you're a fan of that, going back in time and experimenting with your decisions, I don't really think you're going to get a lot out of Life is Strange Before the Storm.
I'm
Wait,
still
well,
mad I can't sing Backstreet Boys. I'm sorry. You the
uh,
copyright.
oh, do you know what? Talking about music, their Life is Strange. The whole thing is that they have copyrighted music, um, and it's pretty good. It fits with the themes of it. It's all this like this one's more rock, whereas the first one I guess was a bit more indie because that's what Max was into. Whereas Chloe's a bit into like new rock. The soundtrack's very good. They have an original song by a band called I don't want to know if you want to edit this out. Pisshead. Uh,
Kyle, you know
uh,
what to do.
it's a really good song. Life is Strange has always been great with their soundtracks. But I mentioned this before when I was talking about the original. It's buggy. They have updated it. It's not as buggy as it was before, but the music will just cut out in really important cutscenes. And for a game being about music so often, it's really jarring just having silence while you're watching these emotional scenes unfold.
Yeah, that's really awful when the audio starts to cut out and just made it
Wow,
really dumb.
that is top tier there, Mark.
Maybe don't check out the video if you don't want to see dumb jokes.
Yeah, that's all I have to say is Life is Strange Before the Storm. Don't recommend playing it before one, and it's not the best Life is Strange game out there, or tell me why. But if you're invested in that original game, I do recommend it.
All right. Very awesome. So that concludes the games that we've played. It is a very busy time for gamers, but it's a great time. You know what's also a great time? For us to talk about the news.
Yeah.
Kyle said make a good segue, so I think I did you proud. So the first on our little topic is there will not be a mainline Call of Duty in 2023. While we are getting another Modern Warfare at the towards the holidays of 2022 this year, next year no mainline. I think since 2004 it says,
Yeah, 2000. Yeah.
which is crazy. And if I could do math, that seems like a very long time. So Jessica, what was your reaction when you heard this news?
I guess kind of as being not someone who buys Call of Duty every year, I'm okay with it. If they want to focus on quality over quantity, I picked up the Modern Warfare remake because I loved playing that game when I was younger. That is the last Call of Duty I played, and before that, it was. I think I played a little bit of Warzone, didn't really get into it properly. I think it was Ghosts I played, and which is not a good game. I went off Call of Duty for a while, didn't really get into the multiplayer. So if they want to focus on quality over quantity, I'm 100% on board with delaying Call of Duty.
I definitely have to agree. Like honestly, if it wasn't for Warzone and what updates they will do to that, like if there was no free to play, I feel like yeah, that's a big deal. And I do stress your opinion. Like yeah, they should focus quality on quantity. The last time I have played was actually Modern Warfare 2 Remake because it was a PlayStation Plus free game. But other than that, I can't even think like let me actually see the list of all the Call of Duty games. Oh, I did not play World War II, but I buy Black Ops 2 was the last time I bought. Well, actually, no, Advanced Warfare. I did buy Advanced Warfare, so it's been a while.
Yeah, Black Ops 2 was the last good Call of Duty experience I think I had, except for the remake, and that was 10 years ago. Like, that's crazy to think.
Wow. And honestly, like if I'm not gonna say fix it, because this is one of the best selling games of all time. So it's kind of like, should it really fix what's not broken? If it's doing well for them. But on the other hand, what can they improve? I'm not saying like, what they throw my hands up. It's like, oh, what can they actually improve? I'm really fascinated.
Yeah, same. I would say maybe it is a little bit broken because they are taking this break because they called it like an unsustainable model. So clearly it's not doing as well as they wanted to. So I want to know like the full breakdown of why they did this because in the Kotaku article we're reading, it was like this is an independent decision of the Microsoft buyout of Activision because they can't have any say in it so far.
Mhm,
But I think maybe it's a good move for them to make while they know they are going to be acquired, most likely anyway, and that they can take a break, that their entire business model doesn't depend on them pumping out a Call of Duty every year now. But you're right about it because I don't know honestly what would bring me back to Call of Duty being a regular title that I want to play. Like how far can you go with these stories or the gameplay? Like you'd have to have some innovative gameplay or like Halo, just really fun gameplay.
mhm. Shout out to Noah.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd have something to say.
Actually, what's fascinating, so even though, like when I mean, like, I felt like their model was don't fix what's broken, because obviously there's some big problems. Like we got to assume, like if they're pumping year after year, probably some crunching, never a good thing. But it's interesting, and actually brings us to the next story in a little bit. But apparently, this most recent entry didn't meet sales expectations.
Which is like I want to know what their expectations were because it was one of the best selling games of last year. Like I can get the figure up here, but it sold a lot. So they must have been the reviews must have maybe hit it, and maybe they like Battlefield. I'm not sure we covered this, but we're blaming Halo Infinite for their low scores, and it was a pretty shooter heavy end of last year. Even having like something like Far Cry there, and then you had Halo, and then you had Battlefield, and then you had Call of Duty, and Halo was such a sensation. Like maybe it did take some of their player base away.
And oh, I'm trying to think of one other shooter game that's on the tip of my tongue. Don't tell me it is Deathloop.
Oh yeah, Deathloop. Yeah. And it
Forgot
was
about that.
again that was like that was a critical sensation. I'm not sure it sold. Bethesda, those Bethesda titles don't tend to sell as well as those big ones, but it definitely took like all of that decent critical reception.
I mean, got a lot of Game of the Year nominations, won a lot of awards,
I played
and
it myself, and it was again it did the thing where it had the innovation. Like, it was so fun to play.
mhm.
It Deathloop was incredible. Another game with really good art style.
That and it's kind of like if we look at the sales figures of that game, it's very different because that's only PlayStation 5
Yeah.
at that time. Which is there anything else you want to talk about with Call of Duty?
No, I got up the figures here, so I guess Vanguard didn't sell as much as Black Ops Cold War as the year before, so I guess their expectation was they'd gain the same or new players. So maybe that got them very worried. But yeah, I'm down for having a decent quality um, Call of Duty that doesn't rely on crunch, like you said, to get out the door.
Exactly. Brings us to our next topic. This hit early on in the week, and that was Square Enix. Very disappointed. Well, okay, definitely disappointed in Guardians of the Galaxy, which came as a big shock. And we were both on the spoiler cast for Guardians of the Galaxy. I reviewed the game for the site. I gave it an 8.5. I think you were also around that range.
Oh yeah, I think I would have given it like a 9. Yeah.
And just to see like another project, like this isn't like a rarity, like Square Enix saying like, "Oh, this one underperformed." So many different games: Tomb Raider, Hitman, and I just want to know what your overall thoughts. Do you think they were right? Okay,
I don't
obviously
know.
no.
Oh, no, yeah, like,
Mm,
as we were talking about in Spoilercast, we'd love to see a sequel, and we were kinda like, "Oh, well, it's inevitable they'd do a sequel, right? It's Guardians, it's Marvel property." But it's incredible to me that they say that it's underperformed, and they did a horrible job of the marketing. Like, it was announced incredibly late during
Yeah,
the it wasn't E3, but during those summer announcements.
I think it actually was like the Square Enix E3 conference.
Oh, yes, that's right, they did have an official one. Yeah, so it was, like, what, a couple of months before it came out. I didn't see, like, a huge marketing campaign, like, aimed at me anyway for it coming out. I was only excited because it was a Guardians game. Um, so yeah, it's like if you're not gonna give the game attention in its marketing, like, obviously it's not gonna meet your sales expectations, whatever they were. I wanna know what they were.
That and we don't know like how much the production cost,
Mhm.
plus the marketing, which yeah, like if you flash back to that press conference and reaction ever, people were not happy with Guardians. The Star Lord design, you can only play as Star Lord, and it's like just coming off of Marvel's Avengers, everyone's like, okay, here we go again. Okay, Square, fine. And then all of a sudden, it was good, really good, critical acclaim, got a lot of awards, nominated for Best Game of the Year. What?
I think
And
it's
you
weird
say
because it's
that's a
kind of
disappointment?
yeah, uh-huh.
It's like if you don't show off your good, your good game, don't be surprised when you don't get the money.
Yeah,
Like, think about
if
it.
you're
It
not
was
supporting it.
middle exactly. It was like middle of June, end of October was the release. So only a couple months. And usually games are just announced like years in advance.
Yeah, and
And
it's
it
not as
like,
if this game came out and it was very polished. I don't think I came across a bug in this game. It looked
no.
great. So why didn't they announce this sooner?
Like even like Horizon, I mean Elden Ring, which I never asked. So you only had that one bug, right? When you were trying to load out the classes? Or not a
What?
bug, like it was an issue?
Oh, that was just me. I hadn't downloaded the game properly, so yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But
But like
there is some residual like frame rate and weird popping going in with it as well.
a lot of PC, and it's like I didn't know how to mention that because it's like, I haven't had a problem. These gamers are, but it's like, and then the patch got introduced, and then the patch was, it's this whole thing. But what I'm trying to say is Guardians did not have that problem. Even like a small one like Horizon. And keep in mind, day one launches are always going to have problems. But this one, now I played it day one, did not have a problem. So you can't please everyone.
Yeah, I was kind of
It's
hoping it would please Square Enix, although Square Enix just seem to be taking like a weird I don't know what they want from their I think they're treating it more like they sound like more like EA is what I'm trying to say. Like their business,
ooh,
you know?
oh,
Business over the critical reception and the games. That seems to be the way Square Enix are going, especially with all the NFT news. Like you said, they were constantly disappointed by Tomb Raider sales, even though they sold millions of copies.
and
Like,
even though in that like same article, it was like, yeah, we had really high expectations for Tomb Raider. And it's like, but you did well. Like, if you have the expectation of like, hey, this game is going to outsold GTA 5, I got some bad news.
yeah, exactly. I think Square Enix needs to, I don't know, reassess what they want from their company. They're worrying me a little bit with all this because then at what point are they just gonna go all in on their online stuff?
Exactly. And granted, I believe it's Final Fantasy 14 is actually doing pretty well for him.
Oh yeah.
But yet again, they can come out with another article like, oh, yeah, we're very disappointed in Final Fantasy 14. And it's just like, oh, come on. It's like my own parents. I get a B, but they want an A. Guys, we got to see expectations. I was going to get a C minus, but getting a B solid, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But anything else about Guardians?
I'm disappointed in it because I really want a sequel. I loved it. I loved the game. If anyone hasn't played it, it's probably the best one of the best Marvel stories out there, like across the mediums. It's so good. And it's very easy to play. Despite it not being very challenging combat, it's pretty easy and very fun.
That and I think it definitely rivals James Gunn's Guardians movies, which is saying something because they're amazing.
Exactly. Like we were talking about this in the spoiler cast. Again, I'm very sorry. I can't remember the voice actors. The guy who plays Drax is incredible. Like I forgot about Batista's performance as Drax, and he is awesome. So that is, and it made us like Star-Lord, who I didn't really like in the films. One of the best characters in the game. Like it had a real big focus on grief and his story and all of the Guardian stories. So good.
Gamora was amazing.
Gamora was amazing. I was really hoping for a sequel.
No, granted, this is not like Detective Pikachu. They have not canceled a sequel. They just haven't announced it. So this glass half full, or
Yes.
shaker half full in this case.
Yes. Shaker half full for Guardian sequel.
Yeah, we definitely both recommend you play Guardians. It's actually cheap. Like we talked about Nintendo not being on sale. This one is $30.
Yeah, I think I will. It's not in this article, but I saw that they're kind of. I think they're on their way to meeting their sales expectations because they have discounted it. And you're right, it was like half price.
So if they come out with a sequel, I feel like they have to learn from the mistakes of their marketing. Because now it's not like, oh, what's this game? It's like, oh my god, a sequel to this game that we all liked.
Exactly.
You can't
Sequel
do
to
a
a
couple
critically acclaimed.
months.
Hmm.
You got to show off your pros. Square, we try to root for you, but this is why we kind of hope Sony buys you. I hope Sony buys you,
Mm.
so Xbox people can stop talking about all their acquisitions.
They're not done yet, apparently.
But enough about this Xbox Sony talk. Let's talk about Nintendo in honor of Pokemon Day. And again, to all who celebrate, happy Pokemon Day. Couple hours before the podcast, as we record on this Sunday afternoon for me, Sunday evening for you, Jessica, they put out a kind of, what do you call it? I'm just going to call it Pokemon Direct.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, Pokemon Direct.
Yeah. And we got a, couple of updates. Pokemon Go Aloha, which hello the polls. If they actually came out with a spin-off, Pokemon Go to the polls, 2024 for us. Come on, let's actually, you know what? Let's do the midterms, end of the year. Let's go.
Honestly, that's not weird for Pokemon. They have a companion app for brushing your teeth. They could have a companion app for voting.
Yeah, the people do need it. Wait, they actually have a brushing your teeth?
Yeah. Do you not remember that? I don't know if it's out yet.
No.
It was clearly for kids, obviously. Yeah.
Wow.
That's that spin-off Pokemon stuff I was talking about that you just have no idea because they announced so much.
Listen, as long as 9 out of 10 says recommend, then I'm in. But enough about we got a bunch of little news, but the big shocker, we're getting another Pokemon game, Generation 9, coming
Scarlet
at the
and
end of
Violet?
this year. Scarlet and Violet. Top 5 colors for me.
I mean, it's just crazy to me when I saw it. When I saw it, I was like, okay, so you're doing like an Arceus continuation. Like it must be doing well. That's fine. And then I saw end of 2022, and I was like, what? You just released Pokemon Legends Arceus.
And just like I saw on Twitter, because I didn't know this direct was going to come out. And I'm like, I'm trying to look it on YouTube, and it wasn't the official YouTube channel. I'm like, is this actually happening? Like, I don't know. You were on the 2022 predictions episode. I would have sworn someone said we're getting another Pokemon game at the end of the year.
Maybe it was Kyle. I'm just remembering my own failed predictions. So,
Oh, I had such a good burn for you last week about Uncharted.
what was
Did
it?
not get that 80% on Rotten
It
Tomatoes.
it didn't. I should have went for fan reaction. Thinking of it, everything I said, that's like fan
Actually,
stuff.
what was the fan reaction? Just quick.
It's
That
like 80s or
was
90s. I would have I would have scored it. Would have got a prediction right.
90.
90, see.
Yet again, I can never trust audience scores, but
I think you just do you know with me, I find a reviewer who you line up with your thoughts
exactly.
and then read it. Don't just look at scores. I hate it when people just look at scores. Read the thoughts about why it's that and then decide for yourself whether you want to go.
And by the way, I know we're talking about Pokemon, but just quickly, they are making a sequel to Uncharted. Sony's very happy about that. So I'm like, oh, wow, we're actually going to get an Uncharted sequel.
I'm pretty glad.
Probably.
Although, like I said in my review, it is not Uncharted. It's got the Uncharted name. Doesn't feel like Nathan Drake. Mark Wahlberg actually does a pretty decent Sully, which I was really surprised at. But it's a decent action film.
I saw the advertisements. You dig the mustache?
It
Does it
it's
work for
okay.
him?
It's not Sully's mustache. It does not
What
work for
I'm
Mark
just
Wahlberg.
saying, can a Mark pull off a mustache? Does that have to be Wahlberg? Can it be any Mark?
Give it a go. Visual listeners will be very interested. The evolution of Mark's mustache.
I hope so in the future. But anyway, enough about
Anyway,
Uncharted. We
Pokemon.
just said no Sony, and we're like, "Oh, did you hear about Sony?" So Pokemon, we're getting Scarlet and Violet at the end of this year. Jessica, what's your big reaction? You're the Pokemon fan out of the two.
Well, when I first saw it, before I saw the release date, I was like, "Oh, this it looks cool." Honestly, it looks like they're putting like cities. They're maybe addressing that empty problem, but also this had to have been developed in tandem with Pokemon Legends Arceus. It still has the exact same art style and visual problems, which is really disappointing. I would wait a couple of years, honestly, for a game like this if it was just improved on Arceus. I'm a little disappointed they went back to the dual releases with Scarlet and Violet. It's a way to get Pokemon fans to buy two copies. I never have, but people definitely will. Maybe they wanted to sell a bit more with Arceus, even though it did pretty well. So it looks interesting to me. It looks more like more Arceus, which I'm fine with. Disappointed that they're not improving on the visuals and disappointed that they're going back to the dual releases.
And even though I'm not like the biggest Pokemon fan, I really dug the trailer. And I
Yeah.
don't actually mean with like the gameplay, but it's more of like the live action stuff, like the end with like the Switch, like the OLED and all that, and then the reveal of the three main Pokemon for this game.
Yeah,
I'm
they made
like,
it feel like an event.
yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, goosebumps? What are these?
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
like, so it definitely looks like it's continuing from Legends in terms of like gameplay. Granted, we're only seeing just a little bit, but I can't imagine it's that drastically different from Legends. Because keep in mind, they did probably develop at the same time.
I mean, I hope they did, because having a development period of less than a year would be crazy.
But I want your take on these three Pokemon because it looks like just looking at Twitter, everyone is digging these guys.
I'm a
Who are you gonna
big fan
pick?
of Quaxley. I'm always a water starter, and I'm glad that Quaxley, the little duck with the little hat, has been announced, although they're all pretty adorable. So we've got Quaxley, he's the water starter, who looks like a little duckling with a hat. And then we've got Fuecoco. The is that the little derpy apple looking one?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Flay, Coco. I kind of gave Jessica my nicknames for all these guys,
Oh,
but
yes, go ahead, Mark. No, they're much just that last official one is the cat, and it is, Sprigatito. So
do
but
you
let's
want to
hear the
know?
real names.
But do you want to know? These Twitter came up with a better nickname for the cat, and it's trending right now. They call the cat Weed Cat.
Oh, Pokemon fans.
I mean, I call the kitty Leafy Kitty. I guess it might be a fox. I will not call it Foxy Kitty. I will call it Leafy Kitty.
Good shout.
So I don't know what. So we go on with Flaco, the fire starter. That is a derpy hippo. I love it.
Derpo.
Derpo.
Derpy
And
Hippo
then
Apple.
and I tweeted this one on Twitter. I didn't know if this was a wig or a hat with Quaxley, but I'm just gonna call him or her, they. I'm gonna call it Admiral Quax.
Like I said, that sounds like something they would definitely call it. It had to have been between Quaxley and Admiral Quax in in the room.
Pokemon, I'm going to give you this one-time offer. Reply within the next couple days. You can call that Admiral Quacks. I just get to see in your theme song whenever I want, on whatever platform I want.
Uh,
Huh?
good deal.
It's a
Good
good,
deal.
it's a great deal.
You can always nickname it Admiral Quacks. Whenever, if you play it, would you want to get this?
You know, maybe, which is a good thing because I'm like, but and I'm trying to think of like, imagine if Breath of the Wild 2 comes out this year. I know we talked about that, but strong year for Nintendo if that happens.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, this might be another another one that I actually skipped. Forgot about Breath of the Wild for a wee bit there. If Breath of the Wild did come out, it would be this Starfield, uh, Breath of the Wild, and I know I'm forgetting about stuff later on in the year. Like
Oh yeah, there's but
they're
back to
just
like
open world.
Starfield. I think that's just enough. And for someone like me who does not have an Xbox, I am planning towards the holiday on grabbing an Xbox. I'm more interested. Even we only saw a teaser, but I'm like, oh, all right, Bethesda, what you got?
Yeah, they're the king of open worlds, and this new one, even just having the Breath of the Wild sequel and Starfield in my head, I was like, well, what the hell am I going to play? I really want to play both, and then so I think Pokemon would have to be sidelined for me because it doesn't look like they're being incredibly innovative in what Arceus is doing. I don't know. Maybe they are. They haven't announced too much with it.
Again, we only saw like a short thing. We'll probably get a lot
Mhm.
more during E3. Another little like not Pokemon Direct on a lot of things, but just like here is a standalone like 15 to 20-minute video. Here's the cities. Here's like one or two new mechanics. I'm actually interested in the cities.
Me too. They looked really cool, actually. I think I love it when Pokemon does the stuff where they replace real world things with Pokemon. So the fountains, which was a Dratini, having the water out of it. I love it when they do stuff like that. So I like when they play with the Pokemon in the world.
I know they have a Nintendo theme park in Japan. I feel like they should have that.
Oh man, I would love it. That's the other thing with I forgot to mention it. Sorry, when I was talking about it, I wish they'd
No, no.
lean more heavily into like playing with your Pokemon, bonding with your Pokemon, because there's people who enjoy the battles, the people who enjoy the exploration, there's people who enjoy getting your Pokedex filled. If they had something like where you're caring for your Pokemon, I think you'd just get a whole other audience of people. Like I know my nieces would love it, and I'd love it.
I'm going to give you this Nintendogs. But for Pokemon, and I bet they already have a game like that, but why not a sequel?
That sounds great for kids. Yeah, like I said, I would play
For
it. I'd
for
play
us, I
it
would.
for big
I wanted.
kids. Yeah.
Am I a big kid? I feel like a big kid hosting this podcast.
Yeah, I don't definitely. If they had that, is a great idea. Nintendogs, but Pokemon, definitely play it.
Did you like Nintendogs?
I
Did you play
did.
it?
I was like 12 when it came out, so I feel like I was their target audience.
I think I was like, I have no clue how old I was, but I was like around that age.
Hmm.
Nintendogs.
Yeah, I did. Though it did the thing like an Animal Crossing where I came back and my dog had fleas and needed washed, and it was a borderline horror experience. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna
and the
turn that
dog is
off.
just like attacking you, like it just wants attention, and it's like, oh my gosh, what have I done?
Yeah, it's like, oh god, I'm horrible.
Yeah, thank God it didn't go like the Tamagotchi route. It's like, so about your dog,
Oh god, yeah. Tamagotchi was dark when you think about it.
but I love it. This is unrelated. On another thing that is also unrelated, but I saw a tweet saying Fitbit is like Tamagotchi, except the only thing you're taking care of is you, and if you die, well, you kind of lose.
I think it's pretty funny. I have less motivation to take care of me than my Tamagotchi.
I I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think that just means I'm selfless.
Yeah, go down that route.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I eat a double cheeseburger. What up? But my Tamagotchi, it counts.
Yeah, the healthiest of meals for your Tamagotchi.
Yes.
Mhm.
So that concludes our news. Anything else? Anything else about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
I don't think so. Like you said, I'm just shocked that it's coming out this year. It makes sense because Arceus was delayed, but still, two Pokemon games like this in 1 year.
And granted, it's not like it's April. This was at the end of January. This is probably going to be middle of November. So even though it does seem like a big thing, it is all the way at the beginning of the year, all the way at the end of the year. So I'm curious how the sales are going to be. I mean, granted, Pokemon fans, they're definitely going to buy it, but is it going to be the same as Legends?
Yeah, and I hope they
Granted,
don't.
it's also a holiday, so
Yeah,
that can
I hope
factor in.
I hope they don't stop support for Arceus because this comes out. Because I was just talking about how I liked that they were supporting Arceus. So, but they have been supporting Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, even though Arceus came out. So maybe that's a good sign.
All right. So that concludes our news section. So on to the main topic. So I don't want to say a hot trend, but you think of all the major games right now: Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Pokemon Legends that we talked about, all Pepsi.
Yep, I just took
This
a sip of
episode
Pepsi
is
for.
not sponsored. This episode is not sponsored by Pepsi.
Yeah, that's horrible product placement if it was. Oh, Pepsi.
Oh, Pepsi. The main topic of the episode. Kyle, if you were a Coca-Cola person, you can edit that out.
I'd love Pepsi to sponsor us, please.
Kyle and I forget which podcast, we were like, come on, Domino's, sponsor us. And we're waiting.
Ugh. Yeah,
It's
a
not
cold
Papa
Pepsi
John's.
Domino's.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that the gamer's diet?
Yeah, pizza, brown lemonade of some sort.
Ew.
I don't. I mean, like Coke or Pepsi, not like weird drinks. Or have you seen Dr. Bob, the knockoff of Dr. Pepper?
Is that an Ireland thing?
I don't. I just saw it on Twitter, so I was like, just chilling with my Dr. Bob.
I mean, they have like the knockoff like store brands, like instead of Mountain Dew, it's Mountain Lion.
Oh
And
God,
I'm
I
like,
love it when they do that.
that's a much better name. Like Mountain Dew. Like it sounds like healthy, like Mountain Dew, but it's like, not really. Mountain Lion? Yeah, that seems like whatever I'm drinking sounds like that.
Like, yeah, I'm ready to game now. I've got my Mountain Lion.
And then I get like knocked out because sugar's a lot.
Yeah.
But enough about the sodas, even though I started about the sodas. You know why? Because I'm distracted. And you know what else I get distracted in? Open worlds.
Great save.
So, in honor of all these amazing open world games coming out, we are going to share our top 3 favorite open world locations. Not so much. I mean, it definitely will be the games. That's why it's your favorite. But for me, I kind of took it as like, what am I doing in this world? The look of this world, how immersed I feel in. I
I
don't
did
know.
as
What
well.
was your perfect?
Mm-hmm.
So, since you are the guest and I am a guest host, Jessica, what is your number 3 open world?
So I picked this one randomly, maybe because you're like, it's not an open world. It's definitely an open world. You can play it solo. You can play it cooperatively with as many players as you want. Kids can
Is
play
it
it. Adults can play it.
what?
What do you
Is it
think it
Mario
is?
Kart?
It's not Mario Kart,
It's
but
Super Smash Bros?
no, it is. It is
Fortnite?
Nintendo. It is Nintendo. It's Pokemon Go because it
I
it.
love it. I
When I was
love how. Please share. I'll geek out about it later.
I mean, you're talking about an open world game. The whole world is your gaming platform. You can play it wherever you want on your phone. I know it's obviously not a traditional open world game, but it is. And I've had so much fun playing with it, like on my own. There's so many activities. You could almost call them question marks on your map where you spin Pokestops. You can do gyms. If you're into the battling, you can do battling. And I guess why I love Pokemon is so much is because it's that community sense with it. Like my favorite ever moments in Pokemon are with like just a random group of strangers who you've came across because you're doing the same gyms. and fighting it, like, on community day, me and 30 other people in my local gardens, my local castle gardens, went and took on a one-star Charmander at the end of the park, and we were all marching like a small army and everybody looking at us. It was so funny. You saw all the people, all the healthy walkers, joggers were like, "What is going on?" While we are all stood at this fountain battling a Charmander in hopes that we'd get a shiny. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts on Pokemon Go as an open world game?
So, one of the activities, can you go to the polls?
Yes, you can. How many other games have invited you to Pokemon Go to the polls?
Not that many,
Not that
but they
many.
should.
Weird. That's a subgenre that not many things
So,
picked up on.
I love your pick because technically it is an open world. I feel like that actually is like something that like Mark Zuckerberg will be like, so the metaverse, it's technically your open world. That was my impromptu Zuckerberg.
Yeah, well done. Last minute Zuckerberg impression. Yeah.
Well,
You sounded more human than Mark Zuckerberg. Well done.
well, thank you very much, Jessica. Now I sound like Brian Gummel. Jessica, so why would you say, and now it's like turning to Kermit.
Special guest star Kermit the Frog, guest hosting KeenGamer podcast.
Thank you very much, guys. So, Jessica, why would you say that?
I'm so
What
sorry,
would you?
Kyle.
Kyle, don't edit out Kermit. We paid a lot for him to come on.
Yeah, this is a big get for us.
I feel so bad. He's a little tired. He's just sitting this out, and I when he wakes up and he edits this, I told him I'm like, we are gonna burn it down, and then I scratched it off. I'm like, have fun.
We've done both.
It's entertainment, Kyle. What can you say? But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I love your pick. I mean, it's not even a cheat because it's not like, would you call Fortnite an open world?
Yeah, you're right. Like the interpretation of an open world is up for debate. And like you said, I went for what immerses you in its world more, and it is the only AR game that has ever done that to me. I will always try a new one. I tried the Harry Potter one, I tried the Pikmin one, I tried the Witcher one, which is a whole other story because it's a good game, but man, did I not want to do anything in that. Pokemon Go, it's so easy to just pick up and play it wherever you are, and, like, you can play on your own. We has remote raid passes now. I never feel like I'm left out because you have Pokemon trading. It's always fun when you get a shiny. Honestly, I think it's my favorite Pokemon game because I don't think I'll ever stop playing it.
Are you in a location where like there's a lot of like gyms and a lot of like these locations like people in like, small towns? I feel so bad because it's like the next one over is 6 miles. Start walking.
Well, that's why I'm happy that they introduced the remote raids during, during the start of the pandemic. They tried to take them away, but everyone kicked up a fuss, so they're back. So that's better for I'm in a large town, so it's not so bad. I do need to walk a little bit if I wanna get to the good Pokestops and gyms, but it's not as bad as living in, like, a village and having maybe a Pokestop if you're lucky.
Say what you want about your selection, but none of my selections make me do exercise like
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's my thoughts on Pokemon Go. I'd put it up there as my favorite open world game that I will never stop playing.
Awesome. So on to my number three. This one was a little tough because I had like a lot of like runner ups. Like I
Oh, yeah.
thought of like Skyrim. That would have been a great one. Noah would appreciate it. Oh, Pepsi. I can't stop. But don't
I'll
spit out
stop.
your
I'll
drink.
stop so you can stop.
Thank you. But my number three is Tushima from Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, great. I This is a runner up for me as well.
This I've never been immersed in a world like this in a such a long time. Because I was one of those games like I'm just counting down the minutes, like, oh my god, Ghost of Tsushima is right there. It's advent just playing it and just how like beautiful and breathtaking and how the world kind of like guides you. Like there's no like I mean, yeah, you can put on question marks and markers and all that, but where's your objection? Just The wind will take you. Hey, what's that in the distance? Like that big smoke or the white smoke over there? I want to explore that. And that one kind of actually makes sense. Like I talked about in the Horizon, not that it's a criticism, but one of the quirks I like, it's like you're in a desert. Now you're in a snow mountain. Well, it's more of like you're on a beach, and then you're in the woods, and then you're in a snow mountain. I'm like, okay, that actually like makes sense. It's beautiful, just doing like the haikus and the photo mode for that. Oh my god!
That was the first photo mode I ever really got into, and it is incredible.
And just like the rose blooms and like the golden leaves falling, it's just so good. Like, I know people were kind of like bagging a little bit on like the re-released Ghost of Tsushima, but any excuse for me to play it, especially like at a higher frame rate and just how smooth it is, I'll take that any day. Here's
Yeah,
my money, Sony. Go.
it came out at the time as something else, which is why I didn't get it because I platinumed the original because I loved the side stuff so much. You're right, like it.
Same.
I even forgot about the wind guiding you guys. It was so fun being on your horse, going through those like cherry blossom fields, just riding in it, going to the next objective. I love the little puzzles you got from having to try climb a mountain, and you're right. It's so immersive that it feels natural. Like you did have the option of looking at your map, but just follow the wind and you're going to have a great time. I love finding all the foxes. It's so fun.
Like, it's, oh my god, the foxes.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
And just like how the immersion and gameplay is also like beauty in nature.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like you just want to like stop and just take it all in. It's so beautifully done. If you've not played, I mean, we recommend all these games, I'm assuming, but Ghost of Tsushima, my favorite game for 2020 by far. So that was my number 3. Jessica, what is your second favorite open world game?
Again, not going down a traditional open world path, but I promise it is there in my number one. But this is a game I played in my childhood, and it's a Zelda game. But it was my favorite Zelda game. I had it on the Game Boy Advance SP. It's A Link to the Past. I don't know if you've ever played it.
No, I have not, but I dig the choice.
Thank you. The
I
reason
can't
why
I can't make any meme jokes out of that, but I'll accept it.
Sorry, it's a lower tier, but yeah. So Ocarina of Time, I guess it's not true open world. Like this isn't a true open world that has sections you can go to, but you can explore wherever you want from the beginning. Uh, it's got that incredible Zelda music playing in the background that gets you really immersed in where you are. I played this game when I was really young and when guides weren't really a thing, and it's really hard to try and work out what you have to do on your own, but I loved it so much of finding the different dungeons. And then the reason why I think it's such a good open world is because you've basically got two maps in one, which is the same map. So you've got your ordinary world, you do your dungeons, you get your items, like traditional Zelda stuff. But once you unlock the mirror mode or the mirror world, it just flips it. You go into like this weird, freaky, horror tinged world with different music. It feels like a totally different world, even though it's using the same map, it's using the same assets and stuff, but it's a different place, and you have to try and work out the puzzles in this open world of how do I get into here by switching to the normal mode and then switching to the mirror mode. Uh, Being in that with the music and feeling everything in it, I think it's one of my favorite Zelda games ever. And I never completed it when I was younger, and I still haven't completed it, but I spent hours in it. Like I could just stay on the title screen and listen to the music. I could just put it on and listen to it. It's one of my favorite Zelda games. I thought about other open world Zelda games, but I think the implementation of the mirror world really makes it cool. It like doubles your map.
And now I'm thinking about it. Maybe like 1 or 2 games, but has there ever been a Zelda game that wasn't considered open world? Oh, okay, Zelda 2, definitely. But even the first Zelda, yeah, that's considered an open world.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's like I guess it was like the foundations of open worlds. That's what Zelda did.
Exactly. Like if you want
Mhm.
to talk about like true open world, That would actually be interesting. Well, is considered the first like true one, or at least the modern day one? Maybe Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
I know
because
it's in
I
different locations, but still, that's considered open world.
exactly the foundations of where like open worlds have went with like Grand Theft Auto and all. Yeah, so it's the game where it's both a really good game and I love the world of it because of the way they've implemented the two different worlds. Like I think putting having your open world as a gameplay mechanic is incredible.
Okay, I just Googled it or Bane it because I'm so cool. It is ta Gunfight from 1975, and that is a my number 2. No one ever thought about that, but I did.
Mm,
No, that's not
yeah,
my number 2.
you
That
unique
was a
pick.
runner up.
Never heard of it.
Woof. You're in for a treat.
Ooh.
It's not a good treat, but it's a treat. So, anything else about Link to the Past?
No, I think I covered it. Honestly, it's even even if you only have played modern Zelda games, I just recommend pick if you can actually with disclosures. Where can you get Link to the Past legally? I'm not sure. I've still got my copy on my Game Boy Advance SP, so I can go. Oh, actually, the SNES Mini. I played it on the SNES Mini. If you can find one of them.
Oh yeah. Hmm. Well, that is an early holiday gift. Take the hint, Jessica. I would like one.
So what's that? That's a Bunger toy and a SNES Mini.
I also want a Steam Deck.
Oh wow. You're gonna have to talk to your parents about that one, Mark.
I'm sorry. Please, can I have a Steam Deck?
There we go. No.
Hey, what? Kyle,
What is your number 2
my
favorite open
number,
world game? Except for
my
Gunslinger or whatever it was.
it was. Why am I even like bothering to search up a gunfight?
Gunfight, sorry.
It is so unremarkable, but yet again, I'm like, nah. I gotta be fair. I gotta be accurate. Anyway,
We can't have those comments telling you actually it's not Gunslinger, it's a different game.
I would love like well actually the first open world game was Gunfight. It's like, really? That's the comment to go to?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Just took me by surprise. Anyway, my number 2, I don't know if you listened to the podcast last week, but my favorite protagonist of all time in video games is Ezio Auditore.
I did listen to it, yes.
And I got to choose Assassin's Creed 2, just Italy as an open world. Because I definitely wanted like a one mostly realistic location. And what I mean, like, I mean, yeah, there's the San Andreas from GTA, there's Manhattan from Spider Man, but like, this feels like I'm in Italy. And just going to all the like, you explore Tuscany, you explore Rome. Okay, not really Rome, towards at the end, Venice, Florence. It is just stunning. Like, it made me want to go to Italy. Which, by the way, this is also tickets to Italy is on my holiday gift. You don't have to get the Munger. I want tickets.
Oh, you're replacing the Bunger with tickets to Italy. Okay, sure. Good trade.
Uh, Jessica, I'm just kidding. I'm not pricing Munger. You also have to get that. But it's just like just going on the climbing up, parkouring through the rooftops as Ezio and just all the different things I can do. And it's a little interesting now because even though they have remastered it and they just came out with one for the Switch a couple weeks ago, by our standards, there's not a lot of like activities. Like the main thing you got to do is collect feathers because, yay,
Yeah, you're right.
it's
Actually, Assassin's Creed, when you look at the trajectory of it, it is like epitome of an open world game. But two, you're right. I'm struggling to think of a bunch of side activities that you do in it.
like honestly, like I mean, they of course as they advance, they introduce more side activities. But I feel like with Origins, they're like, we love The Witcher 3. So we're going to model this whole game after The Witcher 3. I know fans are upset by it, but honestly, like, was the series even working beforehand? No. So
And Origins is an incredible game. So, yeah. Is 2 your favorite Assassin's Creed then, or would you say it was your favorite open world setting?
both.
Hmm.
Okay, well, second favorite open world setting of all time. Definitely my number one, even though like Valhalla, for example, is just vast. It's incredible. Maybe even too vast, but just it's beautiful. The side quests are great. But something like it's half like beauty of it, half nostalgia of Italy, and just the music. Jasper Keed does it, and it's my favorite video game score of all time.
It's
Were
very
you on the
distinct.
It is like Ezio's family and just like the exciting like Florence chase, for example. Like when you get caught and guards are trying to come after you, and just like that boom, I don't know why, like, his music does not sound like, Barracuda from Heart. I don't know why I'm like, boom, doo 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 doo.
It's got the same feeling. The Renaissance Barracuda.
Who knew this podcast would have been an almost musical for me?
Marco
In
Callahan, the
hindsight
musical.
in hindsight, you all should have seen it coming.
But see, with Assassin's Creed 2, I think you're right because it is the last Assassin's Creed game I ever completed. I only completed 1 and 2. I have got lost in open worlds in Assassin's Creed games previously, but I have never been motivated enough to actually finish the game. So I think it balances having a really cool world to explore while focusing on Ezio as a character and being a really fun game.
It is, and I feel like that's, like, the criticism now of Assassin's Creed, like, the world is too open, it's too big. And I definitely get that, and honestly, like, even though the combat is way different, it's definitely an adjustment, but go play Assassin's Creed 2. It's the best one, and it's considered one of the best video games of all time. Why not? So, you said I'm pretty sure you said your number 1 was more traditional open world. So, Jessica, we've been waiting for it. An hour and 38 minutes in. What is your number 1 open world game location of all time?
My favorite open world game location, and I'd say game. And yeah, there might be a little bit of nostalgia in here, but if I
Eh.
was if I was to pick up anyone in this series, it would be this, and it is Fallout 3.
Oh, I
Uh,
love it.
you could argue that Fallout 4 does a better job at it, or even you could definitely argue that Skyrim does a better job of it. I think it is a better open world game, but Fallout 3, I can't tell you how many hours I played in it because it was so many. I went back and played it on my Xbox now from when I originally played it on the 360. I believe I played it in the summer when it came out or the year afterwards, and I just dedicated my life to it. It combines a pretty cool, decent main story with incredible side quests that you can just stumble upon. You can pick them up from someone if you want, or you can go into this underground place and discover a bunch of cannibals, decide what you want to do with it. You're like, what is going on here? It and Skyrim do an incredible job of telling their stories in their open worlds. And I loved just going across the terrain and listening to the old 60s and 50s music, or the three jock, I believe he's called, on the radio. Traveling in that game was one of my favorites. Going, oh, what's that in the distance? I'll go over there. It's one of the my favorite, definitely my favorite Bethesda game. I love the aesthetics of Fallout over the fantasy stuff in Elder Scrolls, which is why I think I took to it more than Skyrim. Um, it's just great, and you have the RPG elements in it as well, like deciding what to do with Nuketown. So cool. I loved that. Have you played Fallout 3?
I have. It's great game. Like it kind of goes back to the Assassin's Creed. Like, yeah, like other games later on in the series technically do the open world better, as in like some improvements and just what you can do. And yeah, maybe it's nostalgia, but who cares? It's your list. I mean,
Yeah.
if people are upset about Fallout 3, but they're like Pokemon Go, yeah, it's open world. I'm not upset by it. You just some people will be
Yeah.
like, well, technically, I'm like, well, technically, she's right. So shut up.
Yeah,
But
nipping that in the bud.
exactly. But I feel like just what they were able to do with that, I think is more of the emphasis. Like This is what you're able to do with it, and you just knocked it out of the park.
Exactly. And these days, the environments are not very inspiring. Like, it was at that time in video games where everyone was doing like brown, murky, gray visuals. And you're like, why? I don't understand. It was
We
like,
had
here's,
one color palette back then, Jessica. You don't get these multicolors nowadays. Back in my day, everything was brown and murky.
yeah, privileged gamers now have colors in their games.
Check your privilege.
But yeah, and I do think I didn't really enjoy the town mechanics in Fallout 4. Like I never took the Fallout 4. I didn't like that they were trying to just do more of the same of Fallout 3 with a few different things. I think they could really benefit, like Fallout New Vegas, totally new area. It was so distinct. You know you're playing Fallout New Vegas when you're playing that game. I would be excited for a Fallout to take what they did here and with Fallout 4 and create an open world where I'm incredibly interested to go exploring again.
It's a little hard to say, but what location style would you prefer?
Not uh not these American cities. I know they're not doing anything incredibly interesting with it. If you went to somewhere like I guess somewhere in like Florida or something like, it's different. It's not just this like it's Washington in 3 and it was I can't remember where it was in 4.
It was like somewhere in Massachusetts. I
Yeah, like
feel like
it's
in the northeast, like towards my area.
yeah, it's the same sort of stylings and there's only so much you can do there, but if you have like more of a tropical water situation, like just pick anywhere other than one of these cities and I'd be incredibly interested. Even New Vegas was cool because it was so distinct. Pick a really distinct city like that. Even New York would be different, you know?
I would love Fallout Miami.
Me too. Yeah. Give it to me, please.
Fallout Spring Break.
Oh, you know they'd have a storyline in there with that.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
also, this is still Fallout. We talked a little bit last week, but I'm pretty sure this is the game. Fallout, the movie, just added Walter Goggins to its
Oh,
cast.
yes, the
I think
TV
it's the
show.
yeah. Actually, wait. Okay, so it kind of came out like the same time with the Bioshock movie news.
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Uh, I don't know who they cast, so I'm sorry, I have no thoughts on that. What's he from?
Uh he is from Community in one
Oh.
episode. I am blanking on it. Wait, are you a Community fan?
I am, that's why I was like, "Oh, wait, who?" But then you said 1 episode, like, I
Okay,
probably
this is
forgotten.
okay, let me have you watched all of Community?
The last series, no.
Did you watch the one where one of the cast members is gone for good?
Yes?
I gave you so much crap about spoiling things, but I'm like, so season 5, episode 4.
Okay.
It's the one where because Chevy Chase was being an asshole.
Oh, yes, I did watch this. Yep, uh-huh.
So he was the one who was conducting the whole thing.
Right, okay. Right. Is he a good pick for Fallout?
I have no clue because I don't
He's
even
playing a
know.
ghoul, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great actor, so it's like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that they're giving it attention. Fallout, like I said, it's a great world. It's got so much lore. I love that, like, it's the future, but it's 50s, 60s aesthetic going on. Having that
It,
translated to a TV show sounds pretty cool.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm just hungry, and you probably don't even know this place. It's kind of like Johnny Rockets.
I don't know Johnny Rockets. You're right.
50s, 60s American fast food restaurant. Mm.
Yeah, that fits. Maybe you are just hungry.
Yeah.
We've had pops and cons.
Yeah. Pepsi.
Yeah. So yeah, Fallout. Closing thoughts on Fallout 3.
Fall 3, just like Johnny Rockets. Just like Professor wanted.
Yeah, if you like Johnny Rockets, you're going to love Fallout 3.
Thank you.
Well, Mark, what is your number one favorite open world game of all time?
So my number one favorite, and it's funny that I mentioned Manhattan from Spider-Man, the Insomniac one, because it definitely feels like I know it's a weird thing because it's already a city, but it feels like I'm playing through a Spider-Man comic with some of the locations. But I'll give you one better. Gotham City from Arkham Knight.
As I have not played it, so I can't comment, but I have seen it, and yeah, great pick.
Have you played Arkham City by any chance?
I've only played, is it Origins, the first one?
Asylum.
Asylum, and I loved it. And I'm a weirdo, and I didn't play the sequels.
Well, I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, like no, it is a weirdo. Like I really want to play them. I just haven't got around to it yet. It's been a long time at this point.
If you have PlayStation Plus, well, only on PS5, I guess it's part of the like Plus collection. Arkham Knight is free to download.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I do have it.
So it's kind of like so with Arkham City, made that game open world, and they only open up like a small like in the game, a small section of Gotham City is kind of like sanctioned off, and all the inmates from Arkham are in there. So it's like all game wars and all that. But Arkham Knight, they took that little bit and they made all of Gotham accessible. I don't know why I pronounce it like Gartham. It's like if Garfield became Batman.
Wow, I haven't. Yeah, you're right. I haven't seen anything in this game.
Yeah, yeah. So Garfield, no. Anyway, back on track. Arkham Knight makes you feel like you are Batman, but not only that, it makes you feel like you are Batman in Gotham. You get all the classic locations, the rain pouring down just around fall time feels like classic Batman. And just gliding through the city, all of like the neon signs, the rusted down old buildings, like this classic neo architecture with these modern new ones. Really stunning. Like I know the game definitely has its faults. The Batmobile is okay, but it's not what it should be. But even just driving around through Gotham in the Batmobile is so much fun.
Yeah, I think like you said, like Miles Morales and Spider-Man do a great job of their open world, but this is distinctly Gotham City. Like it has got its own look, and if it makes you feel like you're driving around in there, that's so cool for a Batman fan.
And just gliding up and just seeing all the criminals like around the park and you just take them out. Like I'm so excited for are you excited for the Batman? The movie coming
Yeah,
up?
I am. Yeah, I'm like a casual Batman fan.
I am not if you ever listen to this podcast. Check us out. We will do a spoiler cast of the Batman. Definitely Kyle and I. And if you want to jump on Jessica, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing it. When's it out over in America? Because I'm seeing it on Saturday.
I'm seeing it early Wednesday night. So it
Oh,
opens up officially on Friday. So around the same time. It's not like I think it was Spider-Man No Way Home. Like usually Marvel in
yeah.
the UK and regions around it have it like a couple days ahead of the US.
Which I'm glad of because boy, do you Americans like spoiling things on Twitter.
I have no defense. You know, we're the worst. That's
It's
what we get
hilarious.
for
I
yeah, well,
watched
like
Uncharted and there was no spoilers, and the day America got it everywhere. To be fair, that might be on me. Maybe I just follow a bunch of Americans who like spoiling things.
no, in fairness, like the Venom sequel, so Americans got it first, and a lot of like fan screenings. Boy, I knew what that end credits was fast.
Yep, same.
You know what I didn't learn about No Way Home? I didn't learn a damn thing. Thanks,
Well,
non
it's
Americans.
DNR part.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I like Batman. I know you're a huge fan, so this doesn't come as a. Do you like Batman or Spider Man more?
I.
Yeah. Because even if you
Wh-
do like Spider Man for, I understand you picking Gotham over New York. You know.
why do you have to do this to me, Jessica?
Yeah, on
Why?
the spot. I won't take no for an
This is a
answer.
Sophie's
Batman or
choice.
Spider
Like,
Man.
I thought the biggest thing would be Coke or Pepsi, and I was like, It's obviously Pepsi.
Mm.
I would probably have to say Batman.
Oh, definitive answer. You can't go back now.
Ah! Why did you have to say that? Ugh. You know what? I'm gonna stand by it. I'm gonna say Batman. I'm gonna regret it. Maybe not. I don't know. But you know what? I'll give you one answer. You know who I like over those two guys? Superman.
Same. Superman's one of my favorites.
He is my absolute favorite, number one. I don't have to fret about that. That's my answer. Giving you
It
another answer.
didn't even need to ask that one. You're like, you know what? Superman. I agree. I love Superman.
So good.
Anyway,
That's
Gotham,
by the
Gotham
way,
City.
I know this is like we already talked about this like a couple podcasts ago. Please make a Superman game. Please make an open world Metropolis game. That would be amazing. Anyway, back to Gotham.
Yeah.
It's and I'm really curious what they're gonna do with Gotham Knights. And actually,
Yeah.
now I'm mentioning it, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League because that's gonna be taking place in Metropolis. Not the Metropolis that we know, it's taken over by Brainiac, the main villain. But how is WB Montreal going to differentiate itself between that game and Arkham Knight? It's kind of a theme that we've been talking about. Like, yeah, like Fallout 4 does some things better than Fallout 3, but what they had and what they were able to do with it is why you prefer it over 4. And I'm kind of in the similar camp.
Hmm.
Like, even though it's gonna be a lot bigger, a lot more quests, a lot of things to do, no Riddler trophies, but it's I feel like Arkham Knight's gonna be a little better. But we'll see.
I'm definitely excited to check out Gotham Knights, isn't it? I'm
Yes.
I'm oddly really excited for it, despite not playing any of the other. But I guess because it is kind of a reset. Like, oh, it's not the Batman storyline now. It's
No, it's not like the Arkham, like it is, but it isn't.
hmm yeah.
And now I'm
And
thinking
again,
about it,
that
like,
that setting, I think you're right. That setting is just so cool. Like, I wanna play in that
and
world.
it's so iconic in the DC universe. I mean, not just like the movies, some of them, like, okay, that's Detroit, that's Chicago, which is why I'm excited for this upcoming The Batman, because that looks like Gotham.
Hmm.
And then, other animated series definitely portrayed Gotham, but actually gliding around and fighting criminals as Batman that feels like Gotham. So cool. I love you, Batman. I didn't know how to end that, but I'm like, yeah,
I think that's a good way to end the whole podcast. Just I love you, Batman,
I love you, Batman.
but I love you, Superman, more.
I love Clark. Watch Superman and Lois. Great show. I think you would actually like it, Jessica. You
I,
don't
s-
have
I
to
s-
watch the other Arrowverse shows.
no, I started watching Superman and Lois, but over here in the UK, I cancelled my TV license, so I'm not legally allowed to watch it on BBC anymore. So I had to stop.
I can't show you how to watch it because we are still live.
And you will definitely not tell me after we stop recording.
Jessica, why are you giving me a wink? What does that imply? Like I'm gonna show you after the broadcast? What?
What? No.
So I've had such a great time with you, Jessica.
It was a fun podcast.
It
Yeah.
was fun. I don't know how Kyle and the team at KeenGamer are gonna feel, but I just feel as long as you feel something, isn't that enough?
That's a deep way to end the podcast.
It is, and we definitely want to end it or just touch on a very serious note. Definitely, we've been keeping a close eye, like the rest of the world, with the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. We are very there's so many emotions that we can't even explain. We have staff a lot of around the world. I've definitely, as an editor, talked to a lot of people. One of our writers are actually in Ukraine, in the heart of the capital. So it's very scary times. So in the show notes, we are going to include the Red Cross link. Please, if you can, donate. We're definitely keeping an eye out, and we hope, especially our writer, just gets through it. If you anything to add, Jessica?
No, just hopefully people can stay as safe as they can. And obviously, We have our full support even at KeenGamer.
Yeah, which it feels so very upsetting. And again, very weird tonal shift for us because I was spitting out nonsense. I won't
Well, I
drag you down, Jessica.
no, it's you need some lightheartedness. Like obviously we needed to go on and do our podcast, and it does feel weird doing it at a
Is
point where the world is having this weird stuff, but it is not. If you have support, it's a good way to blow off some steam. Playing video games is a very good distraction. Listening to podcasts is a very good distraction, and it just again, our hearts go out to anybody who is involved in this conflict.
yeah, and yeah, definitely. We'll have the Red Cross link in the show notes. We have it on our site at the Science Better. Like any article you read, if you're on the desktop, it'll be on the right. If you're on mobile, it'll just be below the or above the author, like that little section. So definitely check it out. Our hearts are with everyone at Ukraine at the moment, and we're just all hoping for the best. So on that note, Jessica, where can listeners find you?
Yeah, if you want to see me being dumb at Elden Ring and forgetting to charge my controller and complaining about it, you can follow me at ResiJessie on Twitter.
It's definitely worth it. I read that tweet. I'm like, oh my God. Oh. But you can find me over at Twitter sharing my dumb names for Pokemon that already have names at Lil Marco 512.
You should definitely
And
follow Mark.
yeah. So I just want to say something to Kyle. We are so sorry. I am so sorry. You
we
trusted us and we gave you a product. We don't know if you're going to like that product.
I'm very sorry about the length as well, Kyle. I did not expect two of us talking to go to an hour and 58.
I think Kyle should know. Like, I'm just a talker. I'm just a rambler. It will never beat out our Marvel discussion. When I
Oh
almost
yeah.
lost my voice. I thought I was so terrified. Like the next couple days, people thought I would have COVID because be like, "Hey guys, how you doing?"
Like, oh no, I
But
was
what
just
up?
talking about Marvel.
But no, I was talking about on the podcast, and Kyle was like, "Yeah, I'm about to edit." I'm like, "Can you do it faster?" I was fine. But what a journey. We talked about Pepsi. We try to sing. I try to sing. Kermit, guest host.
Incredible. Incredible.
It was very incredible indeed, Jessica. And we hope everyone has a lovely day. And this is everyone over at KeenGamer. This I can't believe this actually started as a Zuckerberg. Now I'm thinking about it. Anyway.
It's like open world games, it's the progression. How you
Oh
get
yeah,
there.
that was like the segue. It's like it's not even the progression. It's like the main quest is like, all right, end the podcast. It's like here at King Gamer, we want to. Oh, wait a second, Pepsi. Wait a second. Kermit. Well, actually, no. What's where's Zuckerberg? That sounds like a crying
Mark is
couple.
just making a commentary on open world games, how you get distracted by all the question marks.
I'm just trying to make it officially 2 hours, so Kyle can just be like, "What the hell did they do?"
Okay, we better wrap it up a minute then. Okay.
Okay, fine. So here at King Gamer, thank you for listening. We will be back next week. Definitely talking more Elden Ring. So it's Jessica Mark saying good night or good morning. I didn't know how to say that. I keep forgetting time zones. Bye.
Bye.